I'm Travis Gunter. I'm originally from Port Neches, Texas. Went to a new entry on October 31st of 2018. So before I came to New Entry, I had been struggling with alcoholism and drug addiction since I was about 18, 19 years old was when it really started to get bad for me. And I first went into treatment at the age of 22, but I didn't really believe I had a problem. It was just kind of circumstantial in my mind. And so I was in and out of treatment centers and sober living for the next 7 years. And so during that time, there was just destruction, failed relationships, emotional abuse of family members, legal problems, near deaths, psych ward stays, I mean, you name it. So by the time I had made the decision to get into treatment and actually give it a fair shot and stay sober, I didn't have any money and I didn't have any insurance. And so a new entry gave me the opportunity to come into treatment long term and to commit to that path of recovery, which I've been on for, it'll be a year in October that I've been sober since I came into a new entry. And so I came into a new entry just absolutely broken, physically, spiritually, mentally, and I was just absolutely terrified. And I came into a place that was warm and welcoming. They treated me like family. There was always someone to talk to. There's an open door policy. Everything from the peer groups to the weekend retreat, Ignite, to even alumni coming in. There was always a connection of people that had found that similar success in recovery at a new entry. When I was about 18, 19 years old was when I really started to realize that I drank differently from other people, or that it affected me differently, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. I had always felt some kind of emotional disturbance. I just felt distant or something, and the way that drugs and alcohol hit me was it allowed me to connect with other people. I was always really shy, so drugs and booze were the thing that allowed me to connect with other people. And so around 18 or 19 years old, it became a daily thing for me. And when you're that young, everyone's kind of partying on and off and doing their own thing, but it's really hard for people to tell you that you have a problem whenever you're kind of around it. In my particular story, I was around a lot of people that played music, just a lot of kind of out there people, and we just kind of did our own thing. So it was really hard for me to admit that I had a problem, because I could easily point the finger at other people and say they're doing it too, or they're doing it too. But the reality was I was doing a lot of this stuff behind closed doors, and I was doing a lot of it when no one was looking, because I just could not handle life. I couldn't handle existing from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed without some form of sedation. I had to change the way I felt, and on every level. And so in almost the whole decade of my 20s, I had my mom, dad, brother, sister, different friends at different times always asking me what was wrong, and I could never really tell them what was wrong, because I didn't believe it that I had a problem with alcohol or drugs. And I couldn't keep friendships. I couldn't keep romantic relationships. I became distant from my family and just alienated everybody at different times. And that ultimately culminated into just the absolute alienation from everybody at one point. And I finally was alone Because that's what I thought I wanted. I wanted to be alone to do what I wanted, and no one to tell me to stop or I needed to stop. So that long journey was just a quest to be able to sit in a room with those substances and those things to put inside of my body, and no one to tell me to stop. Which was the ultimate wake-up call to realize that this entire decade was just, that's all I cared about. I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to, but I just couldn't. There was always a wall up between me and other people. I couldn't really build a strong emotional connection because I didn't really care. Because at the end of the day, I was out to get mine because I had to be well, you know? There was something inside of me that wouldn't allow me to build connections with people. For sure, yeah. So like towards the end of my drinking and using career, I had isolated myself in an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment in South Austin, and I wanted to die, but I didn't really have the courage to do it. But I was so lonely at that point that I would end up going into the hospital or going into a 7-day psych hold just to be around people because no one wanted to be around me. I was that lonely, and shit, I just had to, sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Yeah, this is kind of scary to talk about, just to bring it up, but I don't know. But yeah, so, and I've often heard people talk about this, and I definitely agree because I experienced it, is that there is a level of loneliness that an alcoholic or a drug addict experiences that not many people do. And it's so created, I'm not gonna lie to you, in a lot of ways, but you don't really realize that you're doing that until you actually experience, until you realize that you've pushed everybody away and this is all that matters. And then you all of a sudden start craving relationships, but you burned every bridge that you ever, and it's such a vicious cycle of burn, retreat, and I was tired. I was really, really tired. And I knew that there was only two options for me because I was in legal trouble. And I was also looking at, I was gonna live on the street. That was really, and I was okay with that at that point. So, New Entry gave me an opportunity to come in, and I woke up every day and I made the decision that I was gonna have an open mind and that I was gonna utilize the resources that were given me and make the best of it. Yeah, because most treatment centers that I went to are all of them, I think maybe besides one, you were just an insurance policy, you were money, and you were shuffled in and out, and they were really like institution-like and just, so a New Entry was like coming in and it was like a family, and all the clients that were there at the same time I was agreed to. There was just a really warm, welcoming environment. There was open door policies. There was always someone to just talk to, especially going through the type of stuff that you're going through when you come into a situation like that. There's a lot of fears, a lot of emotions, there's a lot of those things going on. So to have that extra support, you can't purchase that. And there's no amount of money that you can get for that, for someone, including, Peter, who is the director, right? And for him to take the time to sit and just talk with you about stuff that's going on, I mean, that kind of stuff is priceless. And you're there. I was there for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we had people bringing in food. They gave us Christmas gifts, you know. It was just a good thing because you're away from family, and that's already kind of a bummer. But they made it feel like family there, even on the holidays, you know. And it ended up being a really good time, and it was really special. When I was at a new entry, I ended up slowly starting to rebuild relationships with my family and some old friends and stuff like that. And so by the time I had left, that was kind of my main focus. And then so I ended up becoming a big brother to my sister. I became a son to my mother. I was a brother to my brother. And just something that I could never do. And I also got a job at a pizza place. And I moved into sober living. And I rode the bus to work and back an hour and a half every day to go make pizzas. And I was the happiest I've ever been in my life. And so fast forward a couple months, I ended up being offered a job at a recovery center. And so I took that job and made a little bit more money. I was blessed with a vehicle, and then eventually was blessed with an apartment. I am back to playing music, which was something I always loved to do as a kid and into my teenage and young adult years. I'm recording drums tomorrow, which was something I never thought would happen ever again. My life is so full nowadays. It's unbelievable sometimes. It feels like I'm in a dream and it's not real, and I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be back into the old life I had. And so I make it a point every morning to wake up, and no matter what's going on in my head, to get quiet and to try to put myself in a state of gratitude, because I should not be here, and I should not be happy, and I should not have the life I have. It's an absolute miracle. And all of this was only possible because the new entry gave me an opportunity. They gave me a bed to sleep in, and then all of the tools, and all of the resources, and all of the help that they gave me while I was there gave me the start for all that. And that's priceless,